Hey, you're listening to Stop the Scroll, a social media marketing podcast, and I'm your host, Heidi Schmidt. I'm a social media strategist and agency owner with over 15 years of marketing experiences helping businesses grow online. We'll be diving into what you need to know so that you can show up confidently online without the overwhelm. Get your notebook ready to jot down some amazing marketing gems, and let's dive into it. Welcome back to another episode of Stop the Scroll. This is my third time trying to record this episode, and the first time recording stuff happened, and the second time I just decided that I was saying too much. But today I want to talk a little bit about mindset, and I want to talk about this because it is something that I have been struggling with, the mindset of just showing up. And when I say I've been struggling with it, I mean those of you who know that I am running for the House of Delegates here in Maryland. It's a interesting endeavor. And recently I was having a conversation with people and I was saying, I feel like I'm behind. I feel like I'm not doing enough. And a woman said to me, she's like, well, are you posting on social media? And I was like, well, yeah. And I do. On my campaign page, I post when I go to events, all that kind of stuff. She's like, no. Are you sharing your story and telling people who you are and telling people what you care about? And I kind of sheepishly was like, no. And there's a big reason for that. I mentioned in the last episode that, I feel like I've been standing on this cliff. And recently I had a interesting run-in with someone who does not agree with me politically, who is, I would just call her a bully. I am going to call her a bully. She's bullied people that I know. She's not a kind person. And it kind of brought back a lot of my experiences being bullied. And, as a candidate, I know that I have to build a bridge and get over it, take this leap of faith and throw myself out there to the wolves. And, what you see is what you get with me. And I can't let the fear of rejection or the fear of trolls hold me back, because that's going to hold me back from my goal, right? So I hear this all the time with prospects, with consulting clients, I don't know how to show up, or I'm afraid of what people are going to think, or what if it's not polished enough? And, I recently saw something on Instagram that business owners, especially solopreneurs, people who are the face of their business, need to get out of the polished marketing mindset and show up more like a creator. And the thing that people love that makes them connect with so many of these creators that have massive followings is the messiness of it all, the authenticity. And authenticity, and I've said this before, is so important to your digital presence. One, I recently saw another social media manager basically be like, authenticity is not a social media strategy. Well, no, it's not. But authenticity builds the know, like, and trust, right? And the know, like, and trust, we know, is key to marketing, to building that connection, to getting people to remember you, to building brand awareness, the brand loyalty, and ultimately, people are going to buy and work with people that they know, like, and trust. And that's where the authenticity really, really matters, right? But that fear of rejection and that fear of, I'm trying to think what the term is, but let's just call it a fear of rejection, is not something that we can just easily set aside, right? The things that I hear about fear, and these are kind of the same things that I'm grappling with as I think about my own digital presence as a candidate. I have no problem showing up on my personal social media pages, my business page, although, I don't do as many face to camera videos. So I'm trying to do more of those. And I'm still in the middle of, it is August 13th and I'm still in the middle of my 30-day Instagram posting challenge. And I will say I have stuck with it. Thank you. We're still 13 days going strong at the time of this recording. I am going to finish it. We are halfway there. I'm super jazzed to report on the findings, all that kind of fun stuff. But the one thing that I have not done yet is a face-to-camera reel. But there is this overthinking about how you'll be perceived. There's this overthinking of, am I going to say the wrong thing? There's this overthinking about people worrying that they're wrong or that they're not enough of an expert, which is imposter syndrome is, that's something that I grapple with. And the mental loop of, oh my God, what will people think? What if no one cares? What if people think that I'm wrong? Like, people are going to hate me. All of the rejection sensitivity type issues. And if you know what that is, like, it's very, very real. But at some point, as business owners and me as a candidate, we kind of have to get over that, right? So I was at this community meeting and we were talking about this, and, I got some really good feedback. They were like, you just need to show up. So I went home and my husband and I were sitting on our back porch after that. And I kind of mapped out the stuff that I need to talk about. And I currently in my TikTok account have like 3 drafts of videos where I'm talking to the camera, and they're probably terrible, but they're just sitting in my drafts. And that's the problem with so many of us, right? Like, we create this content, and then like the fear of rejection and the fear of, oh my God, how is this going to be perceived, keep us from actually posting it. And I challenge you to just post the damn thing. Just post it. Like, what do you have to lose, And this is something that I am like actively working on, is what do I have to lose? I am taking a crash course right now as I launch this campaign in authenticity and resilience. And we talk a lot about resilience in this business mastermind that I'm in. And I'll link to the business hub in the show notes, led by my business coach, Alice-Ann Loftus. So in Business Hub, they have Monday coaching, and we talk a lot about resilience. And so I am like trying to grapple with, okay, how am I resilient as a person to make sure that I am showing up authentically? And it's really, really hard. So when business owners come to me, oh my God, like, whew, I'm getting a little weepy. I don't remember the last time that I really got emotional on a podcast episode here. But as business owners, we know that if we play small, then we're robbing people that chance to connect with us, right? We're robbing people the chance to connect with our values. And if you are a leader that leads with your values, which I very much pride myself in doing, you're robbing people that chance to connect with you and to work with you because they appreciate your values and your services and the mission that you have, right? So I am taking a crash course in authenticity and resilience. And the podcast, I will say, the podcast has been like a stepping stone. Like, if there's a big river, like, and I'm going to use, I don't know how this analogy is going to go, but we're going to roll with it. If I'm at this big river and I'm like, okay, I'm going to embark on this trail, and, we're doing this campaign thing, and now we're at like this river, and you got to cross it. And you got to do these things, and you got to put yourself out there to cross it, right? This is really terrible. I'm sorry. But the podcast has helped me kind of cross that gap, like has helped me get over that mindset holding me back that, God, no one's going to like me, whatever. And I've had many conversations with my previous therapist, about just all of this rejection sensitivity and the fear of not being liked and all of that. And it's a thing. It's a real challenge. But here's the lesson. And here's the lesson that we need to take back as business owners. And here's the lesson that I am taking away as a candidate who is like really putting my story out there. And my story, my values, my why, my politics, all of the things that, I live in a very red area, and I am dark navy blue. You can't control other people's reactions. And the people who troll you, the people who don't like you, they're not going to be your people. And it's like I tell clients when they're like, oh, we had so many unfollowers. Those aren't your people. You can't control other people, but you can control your own message and how you deliver that message. You control how you show up for your business, how you put yourself out there, and how you deliver your services, your values, your story, your why, right? And the louder that you get, the more fans and the more critics you're probably going to attract. And that's really hard, right? Like, when you know that people are going to be critical of you, that's really, really hard. There are some deep parallels, and we've talked a little bit about some of these. Social media is today's public stage. And whether you're running a campaign, whether you're running a business, whether you're a content creator, whether you're an influencer, like, you can't let those other people's reactions hold you back. If you're not showing up because of fear, whether it's camera shyness, whether it's lack of confidence, whether it's fear of imperfection, whatever that fear is, you're just doing yourself a disservice. And visibility, like how we show up for our business and how we put our businesses out there, it's not about being perfect. I mean, don't send an ad to the local printer with a bunch of typos. You should probably be perfect there. But visibility online isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about being authentic. It's about being consistent. It's about connection. And it's about telling your story, who you are, your why, what made you want to do what you do. Because that story is what's going to build that connection. And I worked with Margot. Margot, as many of you know, is my ChatGPT assistant. And she's amazing. And she knows me. So I asked her for some tips, like, how do you overcome these challenges? How do we overcome this fear of rejection, letting perfect be the enemy of good, the fear, whatever fear is holding us back from showing up authentically online? And she gave some pretty good tips. First and foremost, post like no one's watching. And I bet like a lot of TikTok creators would say this, like post like no one's watching at first. And it's funny, when I started the podcast, I had a coach of mine be like, oh God, my first year podcasting, like the episodes were terrible. I would never go back and listen to them. Which is probably true of me now. Like, I've been doing this for over a year now, but post like no one's watching. Like, you're just posting for yourself. I like this suggestion. Adopt the 24-hour rule. Post without obsessively checking feedback, without obsessively checking the comments, without obsessively checking the view count, all of that stuff. I love this one. Create a wins and love folder. And I actually just got a text message from a friend of mine who's in one of my networking groups. Her and I have been in a masterclass together. She is one of my favorite people in the world because she just has this calming aura about her. And she texted me that she loved my idea batching episode. And I am a words of affirmation girl. Like, if you really want to win the way to my heart, like, tell me that I'm doing a good job. Tell me that you're really proud of me. Tell me, oh my God, what you did was great. Like, I'm a words of affirmation girl. So create like a wins and love folder that you can look back on, especially on the tough days, because we all, as business owners, and me as a candidate, and me as a business owner, like, we all have tough days. We all have tough days. Like, we all have days when like the trolls are out in force. We have days where like, oh my God, that reel that I spent an hour on didn't hit. And where we just feel defeated, like, oh God, I haven't had any leads in a week. Whatever it is that's making us feel defeated, like, find a way to recapture the good moments that you've had. Batch your ideas. I've talked about how I don't love batching my episodes, although I am proud of myself because I batched this episode and my last episode twice in an hour. Like, I recorded 2 episodes in an hour, and woohoo! I am so proud of myself for kind of getting ahead. But film or write those pieces, like, whether you have to script yourself, like, write those scripts all at once, batch out your ideas, batch out your plan, whatever, so that you're not overthinking each and every piece of content you put out there, right? Turn your trolls into proof of impact. If you've got the haters, like, that means that you're doing something right because they see you and they feel threatened. And this is something, God, I feel like this was a lesson that I learned back in college. And back in college, like, I was the president of the College Democrats in like 2004 to 2006. And I went to a pretty liberal university. We're not going to lie, but like, it was hard being in kind of a public eye. And, it's funny because I was telling my husband this morning, the morning that I'm recording this, we were going to get breakfast together after we dropped our son off at camp. And I was like, I keep talking. So funny, here's my sidebar of the episode. And I'm really excited about this. So back in college, my senior year, Northeastern brought back this thing called the Mayor of Huntington Avenue. And it's a school spirit role where you exude the most school spirit. And I ran for it. And there were 5 people. I was a senior. The other kids were like sophomores, and they were all dudes. And literally, I was the only girl who showed up. And because I was very active in the College Democrats, and because this was 2005, fall of 2005, after the 2004 election and the 2004 primary, which was a very contested primary on the Democratic side, especially against John Kerry and Howard Dean. Howard Dean was kind of my political idol, but I was a Kerry girl. I really liked John Kerry. I got up there in front of probably like 1,000 people in the student center. And, we had to say who we were, why we were running for mayor of Huntington Avenue. And I got up there and I had researched every single team. This was for homecoming. I researched every single team that we were playing across every single sport that was playing for homecoming. And I got up there and I said, hey, I'm Heidi. I grew up in Vermont. I'm president of College Democrats. I'm a senator in the Student Government Association. And I have always been a huge, huge fan of Northeastern sports. And I still am. I go to whatever events I can. The number of times that my family has stopped me from dragging them to Lake Towson on a Tuesday night or up to Delaware on a weekend to see the men's basketball team, they have mixed results, is stupid. But I love following Northeastern sports. Before my son was born, when my husband was doing his training for the National Guard, I flew up to Boston in January to sit at Fenway Park to watch Frozen Fenway, to watch Northeastern hockey. Sat in 20-degree weather to watch Northeastern hockey at Fenway Park. So I am a lifelong fan. I did not say that because that was obviously 10 years after I ran for mayor of Huntington Avenue. But first time I ever ran for anything, said my story, said why, I'm a huge fan of all the sports. And by the way, this weekend, we're going to go beat Towson and we're going to go beat every single team. And like Howard Dean, if you know, you know. And so that was 20 years ago this fall. And so I have told my husband, I was like, I really need to do some piece of content for that. And yeah, the first political office, it wasn't even political, but the first office that I ever ran for was 20 years ago and I won. So I am hopeful. But these are the kind of stories that I need to be telling, right? As I think about my digital presence for my campaign, these are the kind of things that are going to build that connection. And, I don't know that anyone's really going to give a shit that I was mayor of Huntington Avenue for a overpriced private university back in the early aughts. But you know what? It was fun. And it shows that I have passion. And I do have passion about the things that I care about. I care about a lot more things than just Division I hockey. But we all start somewhere. Okay? There's end of my sidebar. We need to keep reminding ourselves of our why. Whether that's our business goals, our mission, our values, keep those front and center. And it's easier to be brave. This is a direct quote from Margot. It's easier to be brave when you know the purpose behind it. And she's not wrong. Margot is not wrong. It's especially true for me. And that's what I was told recently at this community meeting when they were like, yeah, you need to be telling your story. You need to be out there. You need to be talking. There are so many candidates on TikTok, blah, 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 blah. So I challenged myself. I got home after that meeting and I sat down with my husband and I kind of mapped out the things that I need to do. I told him each week we need to have a little campaign sync meeting and, just we would be having a marketing meeting or whatever meeting, my monthly meetings with my clients, a little sync meeting to remind me of what I need to do. So this week I have fundraising emails to send and I have other meetings that I need to set up with elected officials to ask for their support. And all of these things need to be happening. So I'm going to kind of gamify myself because I'm a gamify person. If you make it a challenge, I tend to just do. I don't like to lose. I don't like to lose. And if you know me, you know, and I said in my campaign kickoff speech, over my lifetime, I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, you can't do that. Or, oh, why would you want to do that? Or, oh, you're really going to move to DC already? And every time I have had a naysayer in my life, I'm like, watch me. Oh, you want to go to that college? That's probably out of reach. Watch me. Oh, you want to move to DC and work in politics? Watch me. Oh, you want to run for the House of Delegates in deeply red District 31? Watch me. Watch me. Oh, you want to start a business? You want to make 6 figures? Bam, did it. Done. Watch me. So remember your why. I have had a lifetime of naysayers telling me I can't do things or why would you want to do things, like questioning why I would want to do that, why I want to throw myself out there. Remember your why. Be brave. Anyhow, the people who need us aren't served by silence. If you are a mission-driven business, you have a purpose and you have values and you have an audience that you are trying to reach, no one is going to be served when they can't find you. That's my closing note. So get out there, show up authentically, F the naysayers, F the trolls, F our self-doubt. We're going to go out there, we're going to show up, and we're going to be brave. And if you need help with that, if you need help with this mindset, if you need help with content ideas, that is what my 3-month consulting package does. It is one-to-one consulting, coaching for business owners who just need a little kick in the pants, a little optimization of their content, a little insight into what's working for them and what's not, and how to show up authentically online. And I am accepting clients for August and September. Well, we're almost done with August by the time this goes live. So I'm booking clients for September. You get 2 calls a month with me. You get access to me on Slack, and it's really customized to your specific goals. If you feel like you have not been accomplishing your marketing goals and you're not sure why, let's work together. Let's do a strategy intensive and figure out what's not working. Until then, download my guide to Instagram hooks if you need help creating hooks for your content. And yeah, until next time, like, subscribe, comment, leave a review, all of the things to help me get this podcast out to more people. Follow me on Instagram at Heidi Schmidt Creative. Connect, go forth, create that authentic content that is going to stop the scroll.